Hi everyone, myself Siddharaju, Assistant Professor of Chemistry. Here I am going to discuss about the unit Alkenes. It is for the BSc first semester and title of the paper is Chemistry 1 DSc 2A. In this session, I am going to discuss particularly about the Wittig reaction, Hofmann elimination and stereoselectivity of a reaction. Let me consider Wittig reaction. It is a useful method for converting aldehydes and ketones to alkenes. It is named for the George Wittig. He was awarded Nobel Prize for this work in the year 1979. The principal advantage of this method is the location of the double bond is absolutely fixed. There is no chance of getting rearranged product here. Wittig reaction involves two components. One is a carbonyl compound, which includes either aldehyde or a ketone, and another one is phosphonium ylide, which is also called Wittig reagent. It is a species with opposite charge on the adjacent atoms, both of them having complete octet. So here, the carbon atom of the phosphonium ylide behaves in many ways as carbanion, and it can readily act as a nucleophile. The resonance hybrid of an ylide can be represented like this. Now let me consider a general Wittig reaction. Here, an aldehyde or a ketone is made react with a phosphonium ylide to give an alkene and triphenyl phosphenoxide. The point to be observed here, the double bond, the location of the double bond is absolutely fixed. So there is no chance of getting the rearranged product. Then how does this reaction proceeds? That is what the mechanism of Wittig reaction. So in the first step, the carbon atom, so the nucleophilic carbon of the phosphonium ylide attacks the carbonyl carbon and displaces the pi-bonded electron towards the oxygen atom. Thereby, it gives a species with a negative charge on oxygen and positive charge on the phosphorus. This is what we call butane. And then, the negatively charged oxygen attacks at the positively charged phosphorus to give a four-membered ring. So, these two steps can be summarized as 2 plus 2 cycloaddition. Just observe this one. The carbon and the phosphorus of the phosphonium ylide involved in the ring formation with the carbon and oxygen of a carbonyl compound. This is called oxaphosphatane. The next step is the reverse of 2 plus 2 cycloaddition. Thereby, the four-membered ring is going to break up in this manner to give a alkene and triphenyl phosphenoxide. The driving force for this step will be the stability of triphenyl phosphanoxide. Let me consider a few examples. I have taken an example. When acetone is made react with phosphonium ylide, it gives a alkene. You observe that the double bond is absolutely fixed. So the location of the double bond is absolutely fixed here. I am taking another example. Cyclohexanone, when it is made react with phosphonium ylide, it gives a alkene where the location of the double bond is absolutely fixed. Now let me consider Hofmann's elimination reaction. It is one more important reaction. It is a process of producing tertiary amines and alkenes from quaternary ammonium salt. The reaction proceeds through concerted E2 mechanism in contrast to the conventional elimination reaction that occurs via E2 mechanism following the Sitzep's rule. So this reaction is also referred as exhaustive methylation because the starting material we are taking here is the amine. So the hydrogen atom which are present on the nitrogen will be methylated, will be replaced by methyl group by making reaction with methyl iodide. And the most important point here, The major alkene product which is obtained by the Hoffman elimination is the least substituted one. As I mentioned earlier, the reaction proceeds in contrast to the Sitzeff's rule. So now you consider the general reaction. So here I am taking an amine with a beta hydrogen. It is important. We have to take a amine which is having at least one beta hydrogen. When it is made react with a methyl iodide, it undergoes exhaustive methylation to give a quaternary ammonium iodide. When this quaternary ammonium iodide is made react with a silver oxide, the I- will react with a silver oxide and gets converted into silver iodide. It will get precipitated in the solution. The silver oxide so formed will deprotonate the water molecule as AgOH and gives OH minus ion. Thereby, the I minus is replaced by OH minus. When this mixture is heated, it facilitates the elimination. The OH minus ion abstract the beta hydrogen to give the final product, that is alkene. Here, the important points to be considered are when there are more than one beta carbon having a hydrogen in the quaternary ammonium ion, then OH minus will pick up the hydrogen from the less substituted beta carbon. It is because, you recall the E2 mechanism, it demands the anti-periplanar arrangement, that is 180-degree arrangement of carbon-hydrogen bond from which the hydrogen is removed and the bond between carbon and the leaving group. Here the leaving group is bulkier when compared to halide or hydroxy groups. It may perturb the configuration available to the most substituted beta carbon. As a result of this, the CH bond of the less substituted carbon is anti-oriented with the bond between carbon and the leaving group. As a result of this, OH minus ion will pick up the proton from the less substituted carbon atom and it gives a Hoffman product rather than the Sitzeff's product. It can be better understood by considering this example. Look here, I have taken amine here. When it is made react with a methyl iodide, then the hydrogen atoms are replaced by methyl group and it undergoes exhaustive methylation to the quaternary ammonium iodide. And when it is made react with the Ag2O and water, then I minus will be replaced by OH minus. Now the point to be considered, when it is heated, it facilitates the elimination. See here, there are two beta carbon. This is one beta carbon and this is another beta carbon. It is more substituted and it is less substituted. So OH minus will pick up the hydrogen from the less substituted carbon and gives this product as a major product. So this is what we call Hoffman product and this is the minor product we can expect by the conventional elimination reaction. Now you consider stereoselectivity. It can be better understood by taking this reaction as an example. I have taken catalytic hydrogenation of alkene. So it gives three different stereoisomers. You observe this reaction. When a single set of reactants can give more than one isomeric products, stereoisomers we can say. If a single set of reactants can form more than one stereoisomers, then one of the product will be predominant over other. This is what we call stereoselectivity. That means the process in which one stereoisomer predominates over another when two or more may be formed is called stereoselectivity. So here experimental evidence shows that the product 1 is the major product. Thus the overall reaction between alkene and hydrogen is stereoselective towards 1. So these are the concepts to be considered here. That means so far I have discussed about the Wittig reaction, Hoffman elimination and stereoselectivity. Hope you understood them. Thank you very much.